Thanks, guys. Cabot, obviously, Mid-Ohio did not end how you wanted it to. It was a struggle through and through. But you come back, you did a test on Thursday. Times were looking really good, but maybe slipped a little in the last qualifier. I know you got a penalty that may not have actually been your fault. That must be frustrating.
Yeah, the penalty was frustrating, but we had a good talk with the stewards, and we kind of resolved it on a...
Thanks, guys. Cabot, obviously, Mid-Ohio did not end how you wanted it to. It was a struggle through and through. But you come back, you did a test on Thursday. Times were looking really good, but maybe slipped a little in the last qualifier. I know you got a penalty that may not have actually been your fault. That must be frustrating.
Yeah, the penalty was frustrating, but we had a good talk with the stewards, and we kind of resolved it on a philosophical level. But they didn't reverse the call, and we didn't expect them to. But moving past that, you know, we were going to end up in that position no matter what, penalty or not. And we've been struggling a bit to get off the line as well as we could be. So we're just working with our engineers and our data guys to get that thing to launch a little harder. And that way we can actually secure a spot in the final.
So the launches are obviously a big part of this track. It's such a long straight leading into the first corner. You said you guys were struggling with that a little bit. You think if you fix that, that'll put you on pace?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a few things we need to do to the car to actually get it to run a sub 37 right now. But besides that, if I can get out in front of these guys and have some clear laps in front of me, and no hindrance from dirt, then I'll be able to run some good times and solidify that final position. You know.
Awesome. Well, great, Cabot. Good luck the rest of the weekend.
Thank you.
Good.
Well, welcome back to the Worldwide Technology Raceway at Gateway St. Louis. Just outside St. Louis, in fact, we are over the river, which officially means we're in another state, I believe. But we're looking forward to Q3, which is coming up in just a moment. We've had some decent action already. Scott Speed looking hard to beat,
looking
I
pretty
think.
fast.
Yeah.
His name is very, very...
I know.
Nailed it.
Who gets born with the name Speed and then goes on to be a racing driver? That was meant to be, wasn't it? But no, I mean, he's done really well. Yeah. Tanner got a great start in that last one, but with the tyre off, bit of a nightmare. So if you missed it, let's take a look at what happened in Q2. So this was the two Fords off the line. Arpin and Peacoy on the inside of Cabot Bigham, beating Bigham easily down to the first corner. Look at this, Arpin trying to go all the way around the outside with a little bit of opposite lock. And his teammate Peacoy, I have to say, with great skills up the inside. Arpin went joker, Peacoy out front through that lovely committed gravel section. He's impressing me, Bucky.
He is very impressive. He's doing a great job controlling all this power he's been handed. And he's beating his boss.
He is indeed. Checker flag. His boss coming under pressure from Big, and we think there was some contact on that last lap. On to the Subaru Fest. So it was a much better start from the Volkswagen and Foust. Tried to come around the outside here of Scott Speed in the first corner. If you're not familiar, Speed's got the black roof. Sandel's got the yellow roof. And Atkinson has got the blue roof. Same for their wing end plates. Foust missed the start, basically having run wide there. He went joker on the first lap, but Bucky wasn't long after that he picked up a front left puncture. We're not quite sure where. We wonder if it's here, where they pop back up onto the tarmac.
Because we did lose him halfway through that lap, which he wouldn't have felt it until he got to the first dirt section of that lap, which I feel like you're probably right. He popped the bead right there.
Maybe coming. He has been spectacular. He's been sideways, but that does mean rolling over the track transitions with the tyre at 90 degrees to the road. And you look at someone with more of a racer style.
There was an amazing merge right there where Sandell tried to tuck in and go on the inside of Speed. Speed shut the door on him.
Yeah, great stuff. But it was Speed who held on to win Q2. And that meant, of course, that he's actually won both sessions so far today. Here are the standings at the end of Q2. Scott Speed at the top of the table. Patrick Sandell P2. Peacoy up to P3 with a great performance in Q2. Chris Atkinson fourth. Tanner Foust, Steve Arpin and Cabot Bigham. So what's Foust going to do from there? He's going to have to fight his way back up. He's got to get, he had a bad start in Q1. We were thinking, oh dear, if they just not got the start anymore. But they clearly have.
Yeah, he's got it.
But then compare that as well to the starts of the Fords. They've been super quick around here, but somehow Scott Speed's still getting it done.
Yeah, they found something in the Subarus for sure. Arpin's been hard at work getting the Fords up to pace. And, of course, Andretti with the bug. The Volkswagen's always been fast, the Beetle. So I think, in reality, I'm kind of liking where Ford's kind of looking, how the Fords are looking right now.
Oh, well,
are we kind of going there right now?
Well, yeah, why not? I want to see us go there. We've got a final coming up later today. Remember, semis and finals today as well. So there's all to play for everyone. But say Ford and Volkswagen with a little bit of work to do to catch up. One man who's desperate to make it through to the final after not making it last time out, of course, is Cabot Bigham. And we sent James Rimmer down to the Volkswagen Andretti Rallycross paddock earlier on to have a catch-up with Cabot.
Thanks, guys. Cabot, obviously, Mid-Ohio did not end how you wanted it to. It was struggle through and through. But you come back, you did a test on Thursday. Times were looking really good, but maybe slipped a little in the last qualifier. I know you got a penalty that may not have actually been your fault. That must be frustrating.
Yeah, the penalty was frustrating, but we had a good talk with the stewards, and we kind of resolved it on a philosophical level. But they didn't reverse the call, and we didn't expect them to. But moving past that, we were going to end up in that position no matter what, penalty or not. And we've been struggling a bit to get off the line as well as we could be. So we're just working with our engineers and our data guys to get that thing to launch a little harder. And that way we can actually secure a spot in the final.
So the launches are obviously a big part of this track. It's such a long straight leading into the first corner. You said you guys were struggling with that a little bit. You think if you fix that, that'll put you on pace?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there's a few things we need to do to the car to actually get it to run a sub 37 right now. But besides that, if I can get out in front of these guys and have some clear laps in front of me, and no hindrance from dirt, then I'll be able to run some good times and solidify that final position.
Awesome. Well, great, Cabot. Good luck the rest of the weekend.
So they're obviously confident they can still do the lap times. I say we've seen a good start from Tanner, so we know that's still in there. We know it's there, but it's frustrating when you're in where Cabot is at the minute.
There's so much going on at the start for these engineers to figure out with the wheel spin, getting the RPMs up, how much anti-lag to add. It's timing, how much you're loading the car with the handbrake, how much you're just either lifting off the clutch, or if you're kind of feathering it off. Like, there's so much going on with the launch that, yeah, some of the guys got it figured out, some don't.
Right, there we go. And Cabot's got a little bit of figuring out to do. He thinks they've got it. They think they can get the lap times. We're going to see what happens in ARX when that session starts shortly. Before that, of course, we've got the matter of a couple of ARX2 races. Great tight merges last time out in Q2. Let's take a look at the standings as that session finished. So Fraser McConnell leading with a win in Q2 and a P2 in Q1. Conor Martell, of course, took the win in Q1, but he was only P3 in Q2. That drops him down to second. Alex Keys, very consistent look, a second and a third. Finds himself in third place. He was on the podium both times last time out. Brad DeBerti's done well, actually, as well. Consistently up there in the points. Then it's J.R. Hildebrand, Cole Keats, Gray Ledbetter and Michael Leach, who makes his debut this weekend, having moved up from ARX 3. Those guys are hopefully just about ready to go down on the grid. And we're going to get the ARX2 races underway shortly. ARX 2 on the line, ready to go for their Q3 session. Remember, this is round 3 of their championship, having had a mid-Ohio doubleheader. They've got doubleheaders everywhere except for COTA, where both ARX and ARX 2 will have just the one round. That's towards the tail end of the season. So JR Hildebrand, Cole Keats, Gray Ledbetter and Michael Leach. These 4 guys raced each other last time, but I'm afraid everybody in the next race was quicker, so they need to do something to get those laps down. We saw a few mistakes from, I think it was JR ran a bit deep, didn't he? Deep. And Cole was there to kind of almost pick it up. But JR, there's a good merge, wasn't it, between those two, if I remember correctly?
Was. And taking fact that these guys have only done or everyone's only done about 20 laps today.
Yes.
They're still finding a setup in the car.
Yeah, absolutely. Little test the other day, but still finding their feet, finding the setups that they want. Brilliant start. Gray Ledbetter got away from the line first there, definitely, but it's going to be beaten down to turn 1, I think, on the inside. Go on, keep it lit, Gray. Trying to go around the outside. Oh, Cole Keats on the lock stop. Catch a big sideways slide. Gray Ledbetter try and hold on, get around the outside of JR Hildebrand. She's deep in the loose, though. Oh, Gray Ledbetter's off. I wonder if she might be in the wall. I can't see from the commentary position where she is. No, she's still in P3, so she got back in behind Cole Keats. There she is. So JR Hildebrand leading. Gray Ledbetter on the outside there for me. I would have gone Joker there, Bucky.
Well, we had someone take the Joker. Who's that? Leach?
Is it Michael?
Yeah, Leach.
Yeah, Michael Leach has gone Joker. But
JR made some moves in the dirt there. And got back ahead, right? Because it wasn't Keats. Keats was out in front.
I've got to be honest, I was so busy looking to see. Gray went off so quickly on the outside. I thought she'd gone off, but I have to say, she must have held on to that big time, because she was so committed around the outside into this turn here. She disappeared off the right of the shot, and I wasn't sure she had enough room to get the car back on, but absolutely brilliant. She's 14 years old, Bucky.
And she is on pace and reeling in Ledbetter.
Should we not be getting
reeling in Keats, I mean.
Should we not be getting the LASEC girls out to come racing?
Oh, man.
LASEC racing team?
They would love to come out and race. I just can't afford it.
No. If we could afford it, you'd be back out here, wouldn't you, basically? Yeah, totally. Looking super loose down the bottom there. I wonder if they've regraded part of that track. You see what I mean? That was looking a lot, that part of the track was looking a lot cleaner last time out.
There's still a bump entering the tarmac there, and these cars will showcase that dramatically. You'll see it. They don't have the suspension travel that the supercars have.
Seeing some brilliant car control from Cole Keats in P2 in this one. Really sending it, trying to keep up with JR Hildebrand. Over the crest, JR goes standard lap, and this time Cole Keats has gone Joker. Gray Ledbetter, I think, was going to go and changed her mind at the last second. Oh, tidy through there. Now that might hurt Keats if Keats doesn't get underneath Gray on the run down to the loose. She knows he's there and just gives him enough room. No, she doesn't. Go on, Gray Ledbetter. So Cole Keats runs out deep. Going to try and get the undercut, come back round. This is hurting Cole Keats' time, unfortunately, taking that Joker. Great car control to get back underneath Gray Ledbetter. That was fantastic from Cole Keats, but
they had a little wheel touch there. I thought there was going to be some damage to Keats, but he got away with it.
That's going to cost him, though, isn't it, Bucky? And he's definitely, he needed to take that Joker, nail a perfect lap and get JR. And as long as JR hasn't made a big mistake, I think Hildebrand's got this now.
I believe so. We got Gray going into the Joker now.
Yeah, done. So JR Hildebrand comes from the Joker. Michael Leach manages to get past Gray Ledbetter when Gray went Joker on the final lap. JR doesn't make a mistake in that left-hander this time. Got a little bit loose in the gravel last time. Loose on the loose. JR Hildebrand going to take the checker flag. 2:56.668. Where would that have been last time? Okay, so he's gone about 4 seconds quicker, but last time that would only have been good enough for P5. But I wonder if the track's a bit slower, Bucky, looking at that loose dirt sec.
Yeah, this is the first race after they've groomed it, so I do believe it's probably a little slower. It will get faster. I think it'll get faster.
JR Hildebrand takes it from Cole Keats, Michael Leach and Gray Ledbetter. Hildebrand finding extra pace, but is the track a different speed than it was about an hour ago for Q2? Another look at the start. So watch Gray Ledbetter here, because this is a super brave piece of driving, Bucky. Talk us through it.
Yeah, she got off the line really good, but I don't know what happened. I don't know if she stayed in first too long or stayed in a gear too long, but these guys kind of reeled her in. But looking great on the outside here. A little too far on the outside, but it kind of sets her up for a good run for this turn here. We got JR. That's the move where he got back ahead.
Cole and JR with a decent fight. The 3 cars were actually running really close, weren't they? But then they split their Joker strategies up. Keats going and then coming out behind Gray. And Gray doing well here to defend the position. She has every right to do that. You're only racing the clock in qualifying, so you know, you're not helping each other by doing it, but she can hold on to that position. She's allowed to do that. Cole does well to get back underneath, but ultimately that meant that having split the strategy, he wasn't going to be able to get back past JR. JR, this was his Joker lap. Tidily done and clearly out in front. So another race win for JR Hildebrand. He was all smiles last time. He's gone faster this time.
That was a great win for you. Could you give the viewers a little bit of insight into what the track's looking like out there? Has it changed over time? I know some people are saying it's a little more rutted now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I guess I'd say between the different rounds of qualifying heats, you know, they keep going out and they're, you know, making the track smoother for sure, but they're also wetting it down, and we're always the first ones out after it gets wet. So I don't really know what it's like, to be honest with you, sort of at the tail end of its progression through a set of heats. You know, I think we'll get a feel for that the next round, next time around. But I think they're doing a great job of keeping up on it. I think for us, the stress is just that we haven't really had, you know, a groomed track from a bunch of cars running. So. You know, we'll see what we get. It's slick, and you can tell that, you know, for us, like as you run onto the pavement sections, it's kind of dragging that like wetness and that dampness out on the pavement sections. So, you know, I think we'll just keep it clean, and yeah, that's what we've done so far. So we'll see how it shakes out here.
Well, it's been working out so well for you. So great. Good luck.
JR Hildebrand definitely enjoying learning Rallycross. There's no doubt about it.
He talks like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah, but he's getting there, isn't he? And that's the thing.
Knows what he's talking about.
I love the fact these guys who are front runners in things like single seaters come here. They're kind of, you know, not getting it handed to them. But at first, it's definitely not going their way. But instead of going, oh, I don't like this, I can't do it. They're like, this is mega. Like, how am I going to figure this out? I want to go faster. I like the loose bits. You know, Rallycross, it just gets you, man. It sucks you in. That's Michael Leach. Now I thought Leach, Leach got the finish. So obviously a mechanical on his running lap to the paddock. So Michael Leach clears the track, and that means we're ready to go for race 2, Q3. This is the final qualifying race for round 3 of ARX 2. Fraser McConnell, Alex Keys, Connor Martell and Brad DeBerti, P1 to P4 after Q2. So McConnell on the inside is the man who leads the standings at the minute. He's had the TQ at both rounds at Mid-Ohio. He won 2 sessions the first day, 2 sessions the second day. You'd fancy Fraser McConnell for his 3rd TQ, but he's got some seriously good drivers to beat here. And Connor Martell with a great start. Martell going to shut the door on Keys. Keys going to try and go around the outside of Fraser McConnell. Fraser McConnell's inside. Oh, and that's a fantastic move. Brad DeBerti is it all the way from the inside. Oh, my goodness me. No, it's Keys. Sorry, it's Keys who's made it through in the end. So I can't tell what was happening from that rear shot, but Keys is in the lead. Bucky, everything happens in turn 1.
There, yeah, Martell and McConnell got into it, and there you go, Keys up the inside.
So it was the Racing for Detroit car of Keys who made it through. The similar liveries on him and DeBerti's car. Good move by him. Fraser McConnell will be disappointed to lose out. And these guys have split the results pretty evenly. So TQ, top qualifier, is very much up for grabs here.
Let's see if we can see any different driving styles here between Martell and McConnell.
Pretty
and
similar there, wasn't it?
Front, yeah.
Rotating the car on the way in.
It's really hard to... I tell you what, if you're following someone, it's easy to gauge the speed, but it's really hard. Martell into the Joker, it's really hard to judge how much you flick it early, because if you flick it early, too early, you're going to nose into the tires because you can't see the tires because of the car in front of you.
They were running a little bit deep on that loose section. JR had said he felt that the track was being groomed and watered and it was costing them. That's kind of part of the thing, isn't it? A Rallycross with the draw that you get on day 1. You know, you can get unlucky in that draw. Then once you start getting bad results, you're always in the first race. And
I always found the inconsistency of the track to be the most fun thing about racing.
Yeah, the fact that you've got to go out and relearn it every time.
Yes.
I think that's why being an adaptable driver in Rallycross is really crucial, isn't it? Consistency is absolutely key. You know,
it is. Yeah.
If you can get the consistency of some of the drivers like we have in the World Championship, the likes of Johan Kristoffersson and Matthias Ekström, who are like metronomes, just banging the laps time and time again, on the pace and consistent and in all conditions. But I do think that you need that ability to change according to the track changing too. If you got both, you're laughing.
Yeah, Keys hung it out there a little bit there. He's looking good though. He's got a comfortable lead over DeBerti. But McConnell.
Oh, Keys gone joker on the inside. Martel maybe going to get this, going to try and hold it, but Keys is going to get the slingshot. Martel's going to look up the inside. So Martel and McConnell swapping places by virtue of their jokers. Alex Keys going to hold on round the right-hander. McConnell's dropped down to P3, Martel ahead, so not sure what this is going to mean for the top qualifier spot. And DeBerti right on the back of that pack, and considering the lack of seat time DeBerti has had compared to these guys, very impressive indeed. Just 2.2 off Alex Keys, who wins his race in Q3 with a 2:48.6, and again, all four of these drivers have gone faster than the drivers in the previous
definitely
session.
Gotten faster this session.
They're lucky, aren't they? Because there's only the car count we've got, none of these guys are going to miss out. So come the semi-finals, it's not going to make too much difference. They're all going to stand an equal chance of making it through. But I'll be interested to see if any of the guys who are in that first race have got any more pace in them if the track goes in their favour. We're going to find out later on this afternoon when these guys get to the semi-final stages. So Keys takes it from Martel, Fraser McConnell and Brad DeBerti. Look back at the start. So McConnell with a good start on the inside as well as Martel, but watch for Keys in the 4 car on the inside.
Martel had to give room. McConnell went a little deep, and Keys just slid up on the inside there.
What a great turn one, I have to say, Bucky. And look at that. DeBerti, who I thought it was who'd taken the lead, actually nearly got up the inside of the guys again in the dirt, but they had enough momentum that once they hit the dirt, they pulled away. So this was Martel going joker. Martel must have got Fraser then with joker strategy, because at this point, Fraz was in P2. Yeah, Fraz went joker here. Slotted out behind him. Keys out front doing a great job though, they couldn't get to him. 0.279 the gap at the finish, lovely under-over on the back straight, and again that's something, the joker merge here is great, isn't it, like turn 1?
And exit the normal lap and try to stay inside and not track all the way out. I'm not even sure that would work still, because if you try to block on the outside, your pace is going to be so slow that you're going to lose it on the straightaway.
Alex, that win wasn't as clean as your last one. It seemed that, you got tangled up with some of the guys. It was a lot closer than some of the other ones. It was obviously a little more difficult. Connor gave it to you a little in the back there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, we just have to outsmart them. We got a good start. We ran a good race. And at the end, we got them back and won the race.
So any strategy changes going out? Obviously, you've won both of your qualifiers now.
Yeah, no, we just play it by ear. And whatever happens in the race happens, just get out, run clean laps if you can. If not, outsmart the guy.
Great. Well, now you'll be racing for position, so it'll be fun.
Here are the standings after qualifying is complete here at ARX of Gateway 1. It's a double header, remember, round 3 for ARX 2, and it's Alex Keys who gets the top qualifier spot. TQ for Keys ahead of Conor Martel and Fraser McConnell, and have a look at those point scores. 137 each. That is unheard of. So those guys have been top 3 in each of the sessions. They've each taken 1 first, 1 second, and 1 third. They're equal on points. Keys gets it by virtue of having the better score in Q3, and Martel gets P2 by virtue of beating Fraser McConnell. So that's the only time you could ever have seen that outcome, to have those guys on equal points. Incredible. DeBerti's 4th, J.R. Hildebrand, Cole Keats, Michael Leach and Gray Ledbetter. So the odds will go to semi-final 1 and the evens will go to semi-final 2. How tight was that at the top of the table there? If we have a similar result to that in ARX, I'll be staggered. I've never seen 3 people at the end of qualifying on exactly the same score.
Yeah, we have ourselves a little racing.
We do indeed. Supercars on the line. This is their final qualifying session for today as well. This unique format this weekend, I say. And interesting, the Marshals. Why are the Marshals out? The marshals are out there. They're swapping the jump start sensors over. So I wonder if they've got an issue with one of those jump start boards and they've decided to use it to line up Arpin. Rolling Arpin's car just a little way back. We'll wait till they're clear and then we'll be just about ready to go. And the marshals leave the grid. Here's the grid then for Q3 Race 1. Steve Arpin, Cabot Bigham and Tanner Foust, the Volkswagen teammates, are together in this one. So Foust and Bigham will definitely have had a chat about tactics for this one. Steve Arpin doesn't need to get involved in that. We've seen some great starts from both Foust and Arpin. We know the Ford is fast here. We know Tanner's quick, but he had a puncture last time out. He's got to get further up. Bigham's just done himself no favours whatsoever there with a jump start, Bucky.
Yes, he totally oinked that start, didn't he?
Bigham rolls the car back, so double joker. This was a look at the start, and he goes full start mode. I think he's gone. Basically, when the ready to race light's gone out, he's gone immediately. So it's just getting your head into that start procedure.
Might be hot in that car.
Yeah, going to be very hot. ×2 joker board shown to Cabot Bigham. And we're going to have to get things back underway. They're going to get those jump start sensors back in place. Foust reverses the car back up and rolls it back up to the start line again.
Makes me want to put on some CBD cream on my body and have a snack and maybe a drink of Rockstar.
Well, Bucky. Right, here we go then. It's the Q3 Race 1 about to be restarted after Bigham jumped the start the first time around. He's going to have to do 2 joker laps. Going to watch the lights this time round. Here we go, the roar of the anti-lag. Super long hold this time. Bigham gets it right, but on the inside, Arpin's got it better. Tanner Foust's going to try and go around the outside. We've seen him out in the dirt before. Arpin's got the whole shot. Foust's going to try and slot in. If Arpin can run wide, Tanner will look for a line on the inside. Can't find a way through. Sends the Beetle sideways. His teammate Bigham's going to have to avoid him. Steve Arpin looks to have had the best start in this one, and Foust is a few car lengths back now.
Pay attention to Tanner Foust on his brakes. He is by far the best braker I feel in the field.
Him and Cabot Bigham go joker together, so Cabot follows his teammate in. Yeah, Tanner is really able to move the car around underneath him on the brakes. If it rained just before the session, you'd bet on Tanner, wouldn't you?
Yes, all day long. Even in the dry, I mean, watch, if Tanner can reel in Arpin under braking, he'll do it for sure. But it looks like Arpin's got a pretty good lead on him, almost 2 seconds. 2.5 as of now.
Onto the dirt section again and again. Foust is really, really sideways on entry. It's almost like he's getting the car deliberately sideways to straighten it up on the exit, but unusually sideways, more sideways than we were used to seeing him last year. Arpin over the crest. Foust has jokered already, and of course Bigham has as well, but Bigham's got another joker to do. Top of your screen, the red indicator shows whether they've done their joker lap or not, and Bigham has a second one to do thanks to that jump start. What's the gap now? 1.3. Foust is reeling Arpin in.
Yes, he is. He is using that handbrake. He's getting that car rotated early and getting to the throttle even earlier. Look at this.
1.4, it's gone up by a tenth now. Foust was tidier through the gravel right-hander this time. Pops the car back up onto the tar. Arpin's going to take a bit of curb on the left and the right. Are they going to send Steve? They're not. So they're keeping Steve out, and the gap's gone up again. He's taken another tenth off Foust. But Foust, to me, is almost looking nearer. Bigham with a big sideways slide, clips the curb and the exit. Might get told off for that. Takes out the track marker, using a bit more width, but I think 2 jokers is enough of a penalty, and the gap now's down to 1.1. Tanner Foust is on a big push.
I feel like Tanner's finding it in spots, but he's also losing it in others. I'm not quite sure where he's losing it, but I'm really enjoying the Petter Solberg style of driving, and he actually cleaned it up there, so that might be, visually I want to see it, but time-wise,
exactly,
slower.
It's not the fastest way, is it? 2 to look at that over the jump, and that's what we're saying about Foust being able to move the car around on the brakes. Foust goes standard lap, and Arpin is nowhere near him come the exit. A second was not enough. It went up to 1.5 at one point. Foust now being tidy with the bit through the left-hand up. Going to chuck the car back up over the curb and onto the standard track. Here he goes. You can just see the little pop and to the line. Foust stops the clocks at 2:36.9. So 2:36.9, what would that have been good enough for in the previous session? Would have won either of the previous sessions. So Tanner Foust then with the fastest time of the weekend so far, 2:36.9. Rolling the cart back to the paddock. Here's the result. Fastest time of the weekend for Foust Steve Arpin, P2 with a 2:38.3, which would also have been quicker than speed has gone in either session so far. Cabot Bigham with a 2:41.2. So the gauntlet has been laid down. This was off the start. Bigham got a little bit sideways, didn't he? And then Foust tries to go around the outside. But again, Bucky, this dirt patch here just costs them.
Yeah, you're not really going to be able to make it stick with that little bit of tarmac getting all dirtied up. You got Foust and Bigham going into the Joker.
Foust was so sideways through this first gravel section on the first 2 laps, but really tidied it up. That was the end of the race. He was absolutely lit, and in fact, Arpin just clipped the tyres, didn't he, on the exit of the Joker, but Foust really sent the Beetle over the crest, moving the car around beautifully, and it was Tanner Foust who takes Q3 Race 1 with the fastest time of the weekend so far.
Tanner, last qualifying session, we saw you had to pull off with an issue. Obviously, your guys got it fixed because you came out here and beat everybody.
There must have just been a small hole on the very last corner. I just caught it with the tire at the right angle, and it just pulled the tire right off the wheel. It didn't even nick the wheel, but you know, a punctured tire, you're going to be last no matter what. So I pulled off to save the car, and yeah, we just replaced the tire.
Well, great. You obviously made up for it now, and you're doing well. So good luck the rest of the day.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Great drive from Tanner Foust. Fastest time of the weekend in the Beetle. He won't know that yet when he sees the score sheet, when he gets back, when he sees the result. He's going to be very happy indeed. And we've got an interesting situation now, because I think we're going to see the 3 Subarus line up. I wonder yeah, okay, so Peacoy's going to split them. But 3 Subarus and Peacoy in this one, so this is going to call for some tactics from the Subaru team, maybe to split the strategies and not get in each other's way.
Well, we'll see how that pans out. I think it really comes down to where Peacoy and how he gets his start off.
Yeah, because he can basically, any plans they've got to do things nicely, you know, he doesn't have to play nice, does he? He's the one guy in this race who can just stick it to them. So Marshall's about to leave the line. Here we go then, the final race of qualifying for round 2 of America's Rallycross. Scott Speed on the inside with his teammate Patrick Sandell next to him. Sandell P2 after Q2. He's been fast today. Travis Peacoy, though, climbed up to 3rd. Can he climb any further? Atkinson is 4th, but Foust, of course, in the previous race has just done the fastest time of the weekend. So is the track faster, or was Foust just absolutely on a mission in that last one? You're about to find out. We're going to send 3 Subarus and the Lowenbro Fiesta down to turn 1. Peacoy so impressive in that last session, but the Subarus have started amazingly all weekend. Great start, Speed on the inside. Peacoy's going to shut the door on Sandell. Sandell's got the squeeze on, he won't touch Speed on the inside. Peacoy's in between 2 Subarus. Atco's going to run wide. Sandell sticks it up the inside of Travis Peacoy. Peacoy trying to hold on. Oh, gets a little nudge from the inside, runs him outside. Atkinson ends up in the dirt. Going to try and go around the outside. He might even get past Sandell. Scott Speed leaves, but Sandell holds on to P2. So it's Speed, Sandell, Atkinson, and Peacoy drops to 4th.
Peacoy really got manhandled in that corner. He had a good spot. He was sitting good in 2nd. And then a little touch on the inside, got a little a little tank splash, and had to lift.
He didn't make it thanks to that gravel section in the middle there. Sandell runs a little bit wide on the loose. We've seen Foust was super sideways on his first couple of laps. Maybe, Bucky, it's just the fact that track conditions are changing. They need a couple of laps to find the win. A little bit of smoke there from Peacoy. Is that a full-on left front puncture? Has Peacoy knocked the tyre off the rim? He has. So I think Travis Peacoy's knocked the tyre off the rim because he's going slow. There's a lot of smoke coming from that front left. Yeah, front left puncture. So Travis Peacoy has lost the front left. Oh dear, absolute disaster. He goes Joker now. I wonder if he's going to do what Tanner did and pull the car off and save the car. He's not. So Travis Peacoy is going to carry on battling around. I don't know whether that's the right decision, Bucky. I guess he wants to hold a high spot, doesn't he, in qualifying?
Possibly, but he might need to get that car back in there to get fixed up.
Yeah, I mean, it's only a puncture now, but if he carries on, he could be looking at damaging the car, and that could affect his chances come the semi-finals. So Picoy is going to drop down from third. It's Speed versus Sandell up front. There's only 0.6 of a second in between them. Surely they split the strategy now. If Speed doesn't go, I reckon Sandell will. And he does.
You've done this before, haven't you?
Once or twice. It's not my first rodeo. So Sandell has got to hammer the laps in now. He's going to get out in front of Atco. Sandell's got 1 lap to try and get the better of Scott Speed.
Sandell's car looks a little off. I don't know if that was just me.
Super sideways, wasn't he, on the way down
like
into that dirt section?
Like even on the straight, the car just looked a little crooked.
It was a 2.6 second gap down to 2.5, so Sandell's just taken a 10th off Scott Speed. So even if the car doesn't look great, it seems to be doing the business. The Subaru is so low. Look at the rear of Speed's car. Pops the curb on the left-hand side. Going to go Joker now. Speed comes off to the side. Tanner's time, bottom right of your screen, 2:36.945 is what he's aiming for. Inside is Sandell, but Scott Speed's going to come round him. Sandell tries to run the car wide. Speed's got the extra exit speed from the Joker lap, and Sandell is right with him. So Patrick Sandell having a great weekend for Subaru. Those two around the left-hander, and then the right's going to be another Subaru 1, 2, 3 because Picoy is miles off the back with a puncture. Not even sure if he's going to finish. Speed takes it, and it's a 2:39.7. He's 2.8 seconds slower, and Tanner Foust has absolutely smashed it in Q3. So Foust is back on it, and we have a fight on our hands in the semi-finals and the final this afternoon. Here's the result then. Scott Speed wins the last race of qualifying here for round 2 of America's Rallycross. Patrick Sandell second, Chris Atkinson third. Travis Picoy was a DNF. He pulled the car off. My timing screen showing that he may have finished the race, but either way, he's going to be a long way back. Whether he finished or not with the puncture, he would still be P7. Chris Atkinson 6th, Bigham is 5th, Patrick Sandell 4th, Speed 3rd. Arpin look up in P2, so Foust and Arpin, and we've got Volkswagen, Ford and Subaru 1, 2, 3. So another look at the start. Speed on the inside got a great start. Picoy did as well, but he just got mugged a little bit in the first corner here, Bucky. He's unlucky.
Yeah, he gets touched a little bit here, which sends him right here. He got touched. No, here it comes, right here. Right there.
And that's where he lost out.
Sandell a little bit on the inside. Aggressive, nothing wrong with it. Perfect, good racing, but unfortunately not good for Picoy.
No, puncture drops him down, say, to P7. He looked like a DNF. We think he did cross the line very late. Either way, it's going to be enough to see him 7th. A great shame because Picoy was 3rd after Q2. He's going to drop down the order thanks to that. Sandell managed to get out in front of Atkinson. He had 1 lap to chase Speed down. He took a couple of tenths off him. You'll see how close it was. But Speed around the outside of Sandell, look, holding on for that spot. But to be fair, he had clear track in this one, and he couldn't match the lap times of Tanner Foust. So Tanner Foust done a fantastic job in Q3 at Gateway. We're going to find out just what the standings are as qualifying has come to a close. Here we go then, standings after qualifying. Round 2 of America's Rallycross. Scott Speed gets the top qualifier spot from Patrick Sandell. Tanner Foust with that win in Q3 moves up to 3rd. So he'll be on the front row with his old teammate Scott Speed in the semi-finals. Arpin and Atkinson, Picoy and Bigham. So good stuff then. Tanner Foust, like with a fantastic drive there.
Yes.
They just weren't able to match the lap times, Bucky.
No, I don't know what. Maybe the cars just pulled more dirt onto the tarmac and they just weren't able to hook it up.
I was interested because the first 2 laps where he was so sideways on the dirt, I was convinced he would be losing time. He tidied it up on laps 3 and lap 4, but to go, I mean, what was the difference in time? We're looking at the board. 2:36.9 to 2:39.7. It's nearly 3 seconds. We're talking about 3/4 of a second a lap over the average of the race. That's really quick, and that indicates hopefully that Tanner Foust is going to be on a mission this afternoon. Going to see him versus Speed. I
think he found his form.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think it came down to the starts are good, but what he did out there that last heat race, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. So Tanner Foust, who did a brilliant job last year, of course, him and Speed won 2 events each last year. He's always been right up there at the top of the timesheets all throughout ARX and every other rallycross he's done. Of course, he's actually won a round of the World Championship, Tanner has, but great to see him find the pace here just as we get into semi-final time. So we've got semi-finals for ARX 2 coming up later, 15:50, so 10 to 4 local time. If you want to catch up with that, we'll be then off air shortly and coming back with more action from ARX and ARX2 to round out our racing here on Saturday. We're going to do it all again tomorrow as well, so plenty of Rallycross to watch. We'll see you later on.